Welcome back to the Brantley Method. I'm excited to come to you. Today's a little bit different. It's a special opportunity to connect with you. Just one of those things that's been heavy on my heart and my mind. You know, as you sit back and you watch the news and you see all the things that are going on in the country, it's hard to go on business as usual, and it's hard to just ignore what's happening around and just try and, you know, stay focused, stay locked into, you know, your marketing strategy or the plan that you have. And for me, it was just, you know, it came to a point where I said, all right, this is something I want to talk about. You know, really want to make sure that I'm connecting with, you know, there's people in the audience out there that I know are experiencing it. And the reason why I know they're experiencing it is because I experienced it. You know, being a high school, a middle schooler, a high schooler, and even in my college career. So I want to talk about, I'm going to call this letting go of the string. And I'll get to that, like where that comes from and the meaning behind that. But, you know, watching everything that happened with Bubba Wallace and, you know, just seeing the stuff that he's endured and imagining how much worse that he's experienced that we don't even know about, right? Like how many racist jokes he has to endure every time he shows up for a NASCAR event. How many guys are screaming at him. I mean, I've been to NASCAR races. I don't know if you have or not, but, you know, they banned the Confederate flag now. Well, that should have been done, you know, forever ago. You know, I've been to races and you just feel so out of place and feel like you just don't belong. Not the most welcoming crowd. So I can only imagine what he's experienced and endured over his entire career. So, you know, seeing the outpour of support and the black community jumping behind Bubba Wallace has been amazing for me. And it's warmed my heart. And what I want to say is, let's keep that same energy, you know, the next time you bump into a kid from the hood that tells you he wants to play lacrosse, or he wants to be a swimmer, or he wants to be a soccer player, or a golfer, or a downhill skier. And the reason why I say that, I want to touch on, so I'll start with, I have something called the balloon theory, and it's what I've based my company on. As you can see, the logo of the Brantley Method is a balloon. And a long time ago when I was a kid, I just fell in love with balloons. And I didn't even really understand why. But as I got older, I understood that the idea of the balloon was the first time that I experienced, you know, the internal, you know, the internal struggle of holding on versus letting go, and feeling like if I don't hold on to this, I might lose it. But if I hold on too long, I'm gonna lose it anyways. And throughout my career as a coach, throughout my career as a mentor, anytime I've worked with student athletes, I always let go of that balloon. You know, I'm not worried about, you know, them being with me forever and training with me forever, or me managing their career. I'm more worried about how high they can fly. And I'm okay with standing on the ground and watching them fly and being able to look up and say, at one point in time, I played a part in that student athlete's journey. So for me, letting go of the string has never been an issue, but I feel like, you know, a lot of us are popping these kids balloons before they've had a chance to fly. And I look back and I think about, you know, my personal story, my background. You know, I grew up, my parents put me in private school from the time I can remember. So, you know, my entire educational career, I was around all white students. It just was what it was. But I came home every day to the city of Detroit. So it was a constant struggle and balance of figuring out where I belonged, where I fit in, not quite feeling like I fit in with the kids at my private school, not quite feeling like I fit in with the kids that grew up on my block, and just really trying to have that balance. And, you know, being a black boy occupying white spaces is extremely tough. And a lot of, if you haven't experienced it, it's something that, you know, an internal struggle that you go through, hearing people tell you, hey, you talk white because you talk proper, or, you know, hey, you act white because you're interested in things that, you know, maybe they're not interested in, or maybe they're just not exposed to in the neighborhood that you come from. You know, for me specifically, you know, playing soccer. Soccer was my first sport. I absolutely loved it. Right after that, I started playing hockey. I played hockey my entire life. I was the only dude, you know, off a 7 Mile with a hockey net and rollerblades in my driveway. And every day I'm playing hockey, and every day I'm working on my shot, and I'm trying to be the best version of me I can be because I love the sport. And I never got the support from my community or from my friends. And, you know, they drive by and laugh like, what's this dude doing? Who's he think he is? Go shoot a jump shot or something. And, you know, for me, it was, you know, I was good at basketball, I was good at football, I was good at other sports as well. So I always kind of, you know, found a way to fit in with my friends, but it was definitely challenging whenever I had to say, hey, I can't go to that pickup basketball game, or I can't play AAU basketball because I've got hockey practice, or I'm playing in this tournament, I've got these things going on. And I transitioned from that to, soccer being my first sport. I was a kicker. I played football as a kicker, and one of the best kickers in the history of the state of Michigan. And I'm not saying that from a standpoint of being arrogant. I'm saying that just from what I was able to accomplish from state championships in high school, at St. Martin de Porres High School, to playing at University of Illinois and then Howard University, where I still hold all the records. But still, there was always that feedback from guys in the community when you say, yeah, I'm a kicker, and they're like, oh, you don't do anything, right? Or that's not even a real position. And that's a struggle that I think a lot of us experience, a lot of us black boys experience, and it makes us step away from our passions sometimes because they're not accepted. So I'm seeing everybody champion Bubba Wallace, and I'm excited about that. I want to make sure that we're doing that for these black boys and girls that are growing up in neighborhoods that have passions that don't quite resemble what society says they're supposed to like or they're supposed to be interested in. We have to stop popping their balloons. We have to stop holding on to the string and keeping them from reaching their full potential and flying to their highest. And if you come across a kid that has an interest that maybe you don't quite understand, find a way to encourage them. Seek out somebody that, hey, you know what? We all know somebody. It's 7 degrees of separation. I'm sure there's a young black kid somewhere in the city of Detroit that's kicking a football or kicking a soccer ball. And I'm somebody that people can reach out to and say, hey, this guy, he state champion, all state, played Division I. He was a kicker. Go talk to him. I'd love to mentor that kid. Instead of us saying, hey, you're acting white, say, hey, we're encouraging you. We want to see you to break the barriers, break those color barriers, break those perceptions of what it is to be a black man or a black girl in society and in America. So that's my thing I want to come across to you guys. Let's make everybody feel comfortable with whatever it is they're passionate about. Let's give the resources. Let's give the support. Let's let those boys and girls know that they can be great at whatever it is that they love, whatever it is that they're interested in, and we're 100% behind them. All right, guys, I appreciate you checking this video out. Continue to watch my channel. I'm always going to put out content. I'm always going to tell you what I'm thinking, what's on my mind. Once again, the Brantley Method is all about motivating, inspiring, and educating. So those 3 principles are going to be a big piece of everything we do from now moving forward. So I'm excited to be able to come into your homes and do that virtually. All right, take it easy.